Hi, this is Danielle from Heavyweights Training Center. We're going to work on the bench press today. I'm going to give you a few pointers, some cues on how to get people's form a little better so that they can push more weight. First thing you're going to start with is your head. You want to make sure your head is driving into the bench. When you get under the bench should be at eye level. So you don't want to be too far one way or another. You don't want to reach back. You want to make sure it's at eye level. So everything is going to be tight. Engage the lats. Core is nice and braced. You've got to do the belly breathing so you're not chest heaving. Everything's through here. Make sure upper back, your bum, and your heels are digging in. Everything is going to drive in when you're lifting. So when you're doing it, you take the breath in at the top, down, come down to about nipple level. Halfway up, you're going to breathe out. Drive through your heels. So I'm going to demonstrate one, and then I'm going to get John to go do one, and I'm going to cue him and fix his form. So, lie down, roll it out, nice tight wrists, even grips. All right, now John's going to do one. Alright, so first thing I'm going to say is your wrist. Knuckles towards the ceiling. There. Make sure all this is engaged. He's got a little bit of an arch here. Head is driving in. Heels are digging in, activating all your glutes and your legs. Everything's nice and tight. One more. Arms are coming right down. Good. And rocker. Good job. That's it.
Good job.
You did great last time. You got this. I am Jim. Let's go. Alright. Okay, hi, it's Danielle here from Heavyweights Training Center. Today we're going to work on the barbell squat. A couple of things to remember when you're squatting is to make sure your core is braced and you're doing your breathing right. You want to make sure that this is all tight. Any movement in this, you lose your stability. So, starting from the floor up, everything is going to have tension. You want to drive those heels into the floor. Two things to remember is that hip hinge and knees out. That's going to cause everything to engage. So you start, everything gets engaged the whole way up. So, when you're doing the bar, so we're going to say this is our bar, it's going to rest not up high, because then it's going to put pressure on the bone that's there and cause pain. Have it down lower on the traps. Tight wrist. You want even grips. Your wrist knuckles towards the ceiling. Engage the lats. Elbows forward. Drive them forward. Keeps you from going forward. Alright, so you're like this. You're hip hinging and then down. Make sure knees are going out and that hip hinge happens first. Some people just go forward. You want to make sure you get that hip hinge. You're going to breathe in at the top, hold it, squat, breathe out at the top. Alright, I'm going to demonstrate one with the bar, and then I'm going to show Jill how to do it. First thing I always look for is to make sure the bar is even in the rack. Don't want to take out an uneven load. Your grip is even. You're really gripping that bar. There should be, you're taking slack out of the bar. Feel like you're going to bend it. Bend it under. Alright, so now Jill's going to show me her squat. Okay, I just get you to stand up. We're going to put that in the rack for 1 second. Walk her in. Now come here for 1 second. Jill, when she was doing it, she was going bending. She wasn't hip hinging back. She was coming forward too much. So we're going to practice the hip hinge, then we're going to put you back under the bar, okay? So I want you to focus on getting your bum out. Okay? So drive that bum. Good. See, your knees barely moved that time. That's what we need you to do when you're under the bar. You don't want your knees to go forward. You don't want your body to just bend. You want that bum to come out, okay? Okay. All right, so let's try her again. Bar is nice and low, not up too high. Grip that bar. Elbows drive forward. Good. Now, remember your breathing. Core nice and tight, in at the top, down. Good. Perfect. All right, ring record. Good. Really focus on your breathing because that's one of the most important things when it comes to your squat. If you're holding your breath for too long, you're going to lose your halfway through. So every rep, you're breathing at the top and squatting, breathing again. Another thing is that some people can't go that deep into a squat. So the first thing you're going to do is get them to go to a high box. This one, obviously, too high for me. But someone tall, that would be a good one to start with. Someone my height, you're probably going to see if they can do this one first. See if they can sit back. It's easier to teach a client to sit back, they get that motion, than to have them just do it freestanding. Then you have this one here, where you can get them to really focus. Your bum's got to touch the box, drive the knees out, hip hinging back. And that's it, that's for the squat. Hi, this is Danielle from Heavyweights Training Center. Today we're going to work on the conventional deadlift. A couple of things to remember with the deadlift, because you want to pay really good attention to your form here. You want to take the tension out of the bar before you even start moving. So you're going to take it and you're going to grip. This is going to engage everything from your lats. Arms are going to be on everything. So white knuckle grip on the bar. Another thing is you're going to hip hinge back. So make sure your clients are really good at the hip hinge for this exercise. Feet are going to be about shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit narrow, and then feet are going straight. The bar is going to be touching your shins. If you're doing it properly, you're going to have bruises by the time you're done. So always shoulders are back, hands are under shoulder, you're down, 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 and then at the top, you're going to make sure that you're giving that full lockout. Breathing is very important. You want to be braced and keep your spine neutral. So you don't want your head down completely, but you don't want it up either. You want to make sure everything is straight. And you're breathing through the belly, so you want that core nice and tight. So I'm going to demonstrate one, and then I'm going to get Rob to demonstrate one, and we'll see if there's anything that we can correct him on. Now we're all going to do one. Okay. Just put the bar down for 1 second. First thing I'm noticing, the crowd is rolling a little bit. We're going to make sure that that tension is there. So you're going to picture there's a pencil right here. All this needs to be tight. The thing I'm looking for is that that shirt is going to go stretched because everything's supposed to be tight here. All right, so get in position. Shins are going to be touching. Head neutral. Yeah, tighten all this. Good. So everything should remain tight. Tight in through here, tight in here, everything the whole way down. Again. You're breathing. Good. Grip. If you noticed, Rob's grip is like this, not an under-over grip. That's going to save up in your shoulder. It will get where your bicep tendons will get really sore if you're going under-over on a heavy grip. So keep it always double over. Another thing is if you have someone who has lack of mobility or someone that's tall that really can't get to the floor, put it up on mats. Put a mat under each plate and make sure it's centered and ready to go. They get a couple of inches, go with their height or their lack of mobility, and that way you can progress them into a full deadlift. Thanks. Waist Training Center. Today we're going to focus on some diaphragmatic breathing, so belly breathing. A lot of people breathe in inefficient, so the shoulders are going, chest is raising. We want to make sure everything is coming right from that belly. So I'm going to demonstrate with Rob here. So first we're going to get him to lie flat. We're going to do a bit of an assessment. So lie flat. Now I'm getting knees bent. Good. So I want one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly. Take a deep breath. Good. See how his chest grows? The belly hand should be the hand moving. Your chest one should almost be stable, should not be rising. All right, so what I want you to do, put your hands down to the side. I want you to focus on breathing through your belly and pushing on my hand. Really good. See how that hand moved? His chest barely moved at all. Again, good. Now, when you're in this position, you're at a neutral, so everything is straight. What we're going to do now is take away his stability. So I want you to lift your legs to a 90. So up, up. Good. Again, another breath. Focus on. Good. Good. Good job. So add in a little more. Now I want you to raise your arms up over your head. Okay? Now we're going to do movement. So once he gets this one down, we can add movement to the breathing. Same way you would do for like lunges, squats, that type of thing. Alright, so now I want you to extend this leg, this arm, okay? Good. Now focus on that breathing. Good. Other side. Good. Remember, breathing behind that belly. So, stay in that position. To introduce even more, we're going to add some tension to it, so we're going to use a band. So I'm going to hold this, but I want you to put it in neutral position. Neutral grip. So turn, okay, like that. Good. I'm going to pull on it. You're going to resist. Remember that breathing in the belly. Good. Keep your core tight. Breathing in the belly. Good. Another thing that you can do with your clients is get them as if they're breathing through a straw. So you want them to do little breaths in and out. Take 15 seconds to breathe in, 15 seconds to exhale. Just stand up for a second. If they're having trouble, because everything should be moving out and to the sides and to the back. If that's not happening, put a band around it. Just tie it on, get some tension there. Now breathe. In through the belly. This way they get to feel what that feels like, everything moving out, and you can see it better if they're going from the back, the sides, and the front. It's very important to get this breathing down because you got to be able to hold your breath and breathe behind it during the movements. And that's it. Thanks. Hi, it's Danielle here at Heavy Waist Training Center. Today we're going to go over some mobility drills to kind of open you up and get you ready before you start working out. So the first one we're going to do is called a high lunge. So I'm going to just show them and then I'm going to walk Rob through them. To get into a high lunge, you're down, you're like this. That back leg is not touching. Then we're going to stretch out our hip flexor, we're down. You're going to be leaning back just a little bit, no rounding. Just enough to stretch it out. You can feel it. Things are tight. If you put your hand on your bum, you should be able to feel that nice and tight. That means this is all engaged. So from here, we're going to go into rotation. So you're going to put your hands down. This hand is going to go up towards the ceiling. You look where your hand goes. So you're going to turn, follow the hand, and then back down. The next one is going to be, we call it answering the phone. You're in like this, you rotate. You're down, and rotate. And now we're going to do it with Rob. So get into your high lunge. You're here, high lunge, everything's nice, good. Nice and stable, remember, belly breathing. Good, now put that back knee down. We're going to do the hip flexor. So in this position, stretch it out. So you should tighten up that bum cheek. Put your hand on your bone, feel it tight. Stretch out all this. Good. So from here, we're going to go to rotation. So I'm going to take both hands inside. Yeah. I don't want any rounding, so I want to relax, focus on your belly breathing, and your stretching. You're going to point this hand up towards the ceiling. Your eyes follow your hand. So you move with it, okay? So rotate, up, good, good. Everything's nice and tight, stretching it all out, and down, and again. Good. Now we're going to go into the answering the telephone. So for this one, the hand's on this side. This hand goes up as if you're answering the phone. And elbow goes towards the ceiling. Rotate. Good. Again, remember your belly breathing. Good. Relax. Good. And that's it. Remember to do both sides. Get everything nice and mobile, warmed up. Way to go. Danielle here at Headway Training Center. We're going to do a 10-yard sprint. I don't think we have exactly 10 yards, but pretty close. So the thing to remember with sprinting is that, first off, your hands. You want to fire those arms back. You're not straightening out. Keeping it up, firing them back. The faster your hands go, the faster your feet are going to go. To start off, what we like to do is start in the push-up position. Because when you're down, in the push-up, and you get up, you have to drive that knee forward. That puts you in a good angle. You never want to start having your reaching. Your foot should not go before. You're pushing off when you're sprinting. It's not like long distance. You're sprinting, you're pushing off of your feet. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do the acceleration. When we get down to the end, there's a deceleration pose where you lower your center of gravity as you're slowing it down, and you end in a lunge. So from here, you're down to the push-up. So when you get up, your knee is going to punch forward. So it's down, up, punch. Slow it up, in. Now, we're going to get Josh to do it as I cue him through. Down into push-up position. Nice neutral, head up a little tiny bit so you're good. When you get up, you're going to push that knee forward. Hands are open, driving the arms back, okay? Good. Finishing that lunge. Good. So from here, one thing I would like to say, open the hands up. If you really fire those hands back, it makes your feet go faster. And that's it.